Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are in week 10 of the Survive This series, coming at you with a week 9 recap. We got a special one tonight, fellas. The commissioner himself will be on in about 15 minutes. How does that sound?
Wow. I'll be bowing, I promise.
You better. You better. I think he's going to come in firing away, so we got to fire back at him.
I've got no problem with that. I've never met this man before, so I'm willing to say anything to make him mad.
Matt will never have a survivor pool again, and it'll save him $10.
He's gonna get kicked out tonight. Matt's gonna get kicked out. And absolutely love it. Let's jump right into a week 9 recap, guys. The NFC North upsets. Let's start talking about it. What do we got, Matt?
Well, we're not going to cover the Bears. I know people are really excited about that, but that game was complete nonsense, and they can barely get a win over the Bengals and old man Joe Flacco. So we're just going to skip over that one. The Vikings, man. The Vikings beat the Lions. Trevor, how do you feel? Let's go to Trevor for this one.
It's amazing. I if there's one game we can just have, I mean, this was a good one, a good feeling. Bring a little bit of hope back, and then ruin it next week.
and what did you think of McCarthy in that game? Because he only threw for 116 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he ran one in. But I felt like it was a little bit better than what I had anticipated him to be.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think I still stand by it's way too early to put too much on him right now. Everyone keeps forgetting he's a rookie. Yes, he has a great surrounding crew, but I mean, he's going to make mistakes. Hopefully you can just learn from him.
And he's only been a starter for like 3 games. I think that's 3 or 4 games in his entire career, so maybe we can give him a little bit of a pass, but that's a tough environment.
Michigan, still.
Well, right, yeah. I mean, the Michigan college stuff, I mean, that's big time. But coming into the NFL, you know, he's got his second year. He's only got a couple games underneath of his belt. I feel like going into Detroit, especially after what Detroit did to us last year, I think that's a big statement win for the Vikings, man.
It's a good win.
Especially the defense. Held the Lions to 65 yards on 20 attempts. That's a pretty big deal, too. This Vikings defense has shown some waffling at times. It's looked a little bit fishy sometimes, but on Sunday they look great.
Special teams like that. It was a fun special teams game too.
Absolutely, all 3 phases, baby, all 3.
What about those Packers?
Also.
Man, they stink.
Stanky.
Woo.
They lost at home.
You guys remember last week where I was like, "Hey, do you guys think the Packers are back? Do you guys still feel like the Packers are back?"
Not after seeing that.
You were the one who said they were.
I know, I did.
I was the one who said you got to come back to reality. I didn't say they were bad by any means, but
oh well, they looked horrible. That's got to be the worst Jordan Love game I've only seen. And the worst part about it is Bryce Young only passed for 102 yards, 102 yards, and they still won. So I'm not going to put this on the Green Bay defense. This is solely on the Green Bay offense.
That was an ugly game. What did it end up being? 13-16?
Yeah, it's pretty close to that.
I just said it's the same thing from the Vikings game. There wasn't that many passing yards. We just got it done.
True. At least they scored points, though. We had that Packer-Panther game on split screen because there was another Packer fan in the house. I will not say who. It was bad, man. That was a boring game.
This is what happens when you run into the buzzsaw Panthers, man. They just tear you up.
Yes, they do. Let's talk about the Bills' annual Super Bowl against the Chiefs, and what do you know? They won because that is the only time Josh Allen can beat the Chiefs. Let's talk about it.
You know, I see people's reactions to this, so like the Bills are back, and whatever, and oh, maybe this is going to be a bad problem for Mahomes and the Chiefs, and I just need people to remember that last year the Bills beat the Chiefs again, and it just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter until playoff time. And look, Allen did pretty well, 273 yards passing, 3 total touchdowns. The Bills defense looked really good. Held Mahomes to 15 of 34 passing for 250 yards and an interception. I just don't put a lot of faith into this. I feel like it doesn't matter that the Bills won a game in October. What's really going to matter is in January.
True. Do you think the Bills can beat them in the playoffs?
Oh no. I don't know how Trevor feels, but no, I don't think so.
Too many years in a row of the same thing. to ever. We've already talked about this. You can't bet against the Chiefs when you've seen the same thing happen every year.
Yeah, you just can't keep doing this thing to yourself where you're like, man, if I hit my hand with this hammer, I swear it's not going to hurt this time. And then you hit your hand with the hammer and it still hurts. That's the Chiefs. You're just going to keep hitting your hand with the hammer, and that's Josh Allen too. He's the one who's beating his hand to death.
Exactly. All right, let's get into it real quick. Darnold throws for a perfect half with 282 yards and 4 touchdowns, kicking the absolute crap out of the Commanders on Sunday Night Football. Before we jump into the cursed Washington Commanders, let's talk about Darnold for a second. Go ahead.
I'm happy for him, man. Like, things ended so bad in Minnesota for him. I just didn't see a path to him being able to come back. He's really got Seattle humming, man. Jackson Smith-Njigba looks great. He has like 950 yards receiving or something like that this year. Or he has like 95% of the total passing offense, which is just insane. But I like the Seattle team. I don't know if the Washington win is going to be the defining moment of their season or anything like that, because Washington was so putrid. But I'm happy for Sam Darnold. I'm glad things are working out. I didn't want him to fail.
Maybe he can do that in the playoffs with the Seahawks. See what he does there. Let's talk about the Commanders real quick. They are the team from hell. I think we just talked about that a little bit earlier this week, Matt. Jayden Daniels, who suffered a severe dislocated elbow in that loss. It was in the fourth quarter, I think, and then Dan Quinn actually came out. Dan Quinn came out and said, "Hey, that was my bad. I wanted him to play one more drive," and on that drive, he got hurt. The MRI did come back today. I did take a look at it, and there are no severe ligament damage. So he is still going to be out for quite a while. I don't see him coming back within the next 2 months, which then pretty much puts them done with football. So I think he's going to be done for the year, but that is a positive when it comes to him being out and that elbow not having some severe ligament damage. And it's his left arm, so it's not his right arm where he's slinging that ball. So, but still, it sucks. Commanders are riddled with a bunch of injuries. Marshawn Lattimore, ACL, turf toe with one guy. Eckler's out with an ACL. McCaffrey's out with a shoulder now. So it's pretty wild. So, you guys got anything to say about the Commanders, or are we just going to move on?
Can I give you just a little bit of good news?
Yeah, I would love some good news.
So Luvu, the linebacker that is leading the league in hip drop tackles, that thought he was going to get suspended for a game, is not. He just got a $100,000 fine.
Only $100K? Wow.
That's it. Now he's back, man. So congratulations.
I love that. So he'll hip drop 2 more people and get suspended and another $100K.
You got it.
Oh, that's so good. Yeah, they are. They are an absolute mess. Before we jump into a trade deadline quick hits for this week, let's get into some stats when it comes to last week's games. 60 entries have survived. 4 entries have been eliminated. 80%-ish of the pool, I think, is still alive on Kenny's email that I read, which I haven't been reading those. We're going to have to talk about that. I think he needs to spice them up a little bit, but that can be a question for the commissioner. 30 people picked the Rams. They won. Chargers, 22 people picked. Packers had 4 individuals pick them, and they lost. The Ravens, San Francisco, had 2 people pick them. The Lions had 2 people pick them. They lost. Seahawks had 1, and the Patriots had 1. Everyone else was a dud. So, yeah, Rams, Chargers, like we predicted, were going to be the 2 main teams that everyone went with, and congratulations, you're moving on. Trevor, you went with the Rams, right?
Yep, safe pick.
Good boy.
Good work. All right, quick hits. Let's send it over to Matt. We're going to go trade deadline edition. What did you see? What did you not see? Is there teams that made moves that you're surprised of, and vice versa? Go ahead, Matt.
Well, first, I just want to compliment the Minnesota Vikings. Congratulations. You didn't fall prey to making a very stupid trade. I appreciate you guys. Good job, good job, good job. Just want to start with that, because if Kirk Cousins would have been traded to my team, I'm not sure I would have been able to get on this phone call. So
continue.
just want to give some props to my beloved Vikings. I mean, the biggest ones were related to the Jets. The Jets dealt 2 defensive stars, 2 homegrown guys. Sauce Gardner to the Colts for 2 first-round picks, which is hefty for a cornerback. and Quinnen Williams to Cowboys for a first and a second rounder, which, damn, Jerry, you're going to figure out that Dallas defense against the rush, whether anybody likes it or not, nobody does. That's why they dealt Micah Parsons, apparently, was because they wanted to bolster their run defense with Kenny Clark, and now they got Quinnen Williams, two guys that are not going to get a sack this year. Absolutely remarkable. With every single team that's involved, I do think that really helps the Colts. That was a soft spot for them. The one gripe that I have is that you're making this push, and you really, like, Daniel Jones might not be on your team next year. Like, he's still a very big wild card. You don't have your quarterback figured out. You're paying Sauce Gardner a lot of money because both Gardner and Quinnen Williams signed long-term deals with the Jets this past offseason. So I'm a little wishy-washy on that. Again, 2 first-round picks for a cornerback is pretty crazy. And Quinnen Williams, fine player, maybe could be an all-pro at some point in his career, but I don't see it. I don't understand why those teams did it. And the Jets, man, they just do this rebuild shit every 5 years, and it just sucks and sucks and sucks. So feel bad for any Jets fan in your life.
I was going to say, the Jets actually got a good deal out of this. It's just what they're going to do with that deal is going to ruin it.
Yeah, the problem is they've got these 2026 picks, and it just seems like a really soft draft coming up. So maybe they can find some interior linemen or again, the ironic part is, like, maybe they're going to take a cornerback or a defensive tackle, which they just dealt away, because there's really not a quarterback that you want to go and get in this upcoming draft unless there is, and I just haven't seen it because it looks like everybody's kind of a bum. I just don't see it. 2027 looks like it might be a little bit of a better draft, but still they don't have as many picks in it. So this is just classic Jets. It's just classic Jets to tear everything down. They realize that they messed up. Just going to try to move on. Justin Fields is a liability. They're going to win like one more game this year, and that's about it. So full tank mode.
Seahawks added another pass catcher.
Yeah, Rashid Shaheed from the Saints, who is kind of like every analyst's favorite dark horse that never actually lives up to expectations because he plays in New Orleans. He just never had a quarterback to be able to get him the ball. I think Darnold is going to be able to get him the ball, and I think he's really going to open up that offense to be more of a deep threat because right now they play a lot in between the numbers, a lot over the middle of the field, which they're utilizing Darnold's talents pretty well. But let that man fling it because he did that in Minnesota last year to some great success. So love Rashid Shaheed getting out of New Orleans more than anything else.
Jakobi Meyers, where is he headed?
Jakobi Meyers, who about 2 or 3 days before the season started, requested a trade from the Raiders because it sucks there. And been stuck on the Raiders for a little while, and he finally got his wish. He got traded to the Jags. Travis Hunter is on the IR. There is some speculation that he might not come back this year. He's got some pretty nasty injuries, some long-term injuries that are going to nag him. So Jakobi Meyers fits into that offense. Here's the bad part. You got Trevor Lawrence throwing you the ball. So good luck, Godspeed. It's not a lot better than Geno Smith. So glad you got your wish, Jakobi.
The Eagles add another pass rusher. Haha.
Yeah, I haven't seen a team like this scramble as much as they have. They've really done a lot of trades. I know obviously it was the trade deadline, but they traded for Jalen Phillips from Miami, which makes a lot of sense. He's also on a pretty team-friendly deal. They can move on from him, and he can move on from them pretty soon. But they also signed Jair Alexander, who was getting healthy scratches from the Ravens. Michael Carter, who was on the Jets. They brought back Brandon Graham, who played for 17 years in Philly and then retired this past offseason and came back. This team just throws money around willy-nilly. They bring in every old man that they could possibly find off the street. I think they realize that their goose is kind of cooked, that they might have a pretty hard path to actually get to the Super Bowl. And I think the biggest part about Philly is they didn't trade A.J. Brown, which I'm not surprised that they didn't. I think that would have been really stupid. But if they would have got a good deal, they probably should have went for it because A.J. Brown is not going to last much longer there.
Overall, what would you grade the free agency? Obviously, A+ for the Vikings because they didn't do anything. Did you expect any other guys to get wheeled and dealed besides who got dealt?
No, the NFL trade deadline, unlike the NBA trade deadline, is really hard. Like it's really hard to move a lot of these guys because you can't really integrate these guys into an offense and a defense unless they have some familiarity to it. So like Rashid Shaheed, Clint Kubiak is the offensive coordinator for Seattle. Well, he was the offensive coordinator for New Orleans last year. They're running the same system. Like he understands that system. So it's not hard to bring that guy into your offense to make that kind of an understanding. Like bringing in a quarterback that's unfamiliar with the system or running back, like that stuff just doesn't usually work. Like Jakobi Meyers is going to struggle in Jacksonville because he's not familiar with that offense, which is a KOC Minnesota style offense. Maybe he's going to get a lot more targets, but it's going to be pretty limited in their route running abilities. I just think in general, teams are pretty happy with where they're sitting. They're going to ride it out. Nobody is opening up the floodgates all that much. I'm surprised Kansas City couldn't get a deal done on a running back. I really thought that Breece Hall was going to be a good destination for them, and seeing the Jets do this fire sale on some of these guys and then leave Breece Hall, leave Jermaine Johnson, leave some of these guys still on the team to basically just rot was a little shocking to me.
Gotcha. There you go. Quick Hits Trade Deadline Edition. We are back, and we are joined by the one and only Commissioner. Everyone, round of applause, fellas. Give it up. Kenny, how we doing tonight?
What's up? I'm doing well. What's up, boys?
Wow, the commish is on here. This is Matt, by the way, so you'll actually know our voices.
Yeah. Hey, Matt, how are you?
I'm doing great, Kenny. Thanks for coming on.
No problem. I'm nervous.
Oh, boy. No need to be nervous. We just got a couple questions for the good old commish. Before we open it up to the press, me, Matt, and Trevor, is there anything you want to get off your chest? Are you talking like bad purchases people are buying with their winnings, dumb picks, the Giants? Here's your time to vent for 2-3 minutes before we get into 2 or 3 questions.
Yeah, I think I've pretty much covered it in my emails lately. We had the Mets. That was a freaking disaster. The Giants, there was 2 weeks of glimmer of hope. Then they did absolutely nothing at the trade deadline, so that's over. My Islanders, though, maybe they might make the playoffs. That's about it. So
I love it.
Every week when I'm typing out my email, it's whatever pisses me off that day.
Absolutely. Unless it's a good movie. Hey, Kenny, Matt's a movie guy. Matt's a big movie guy.
Oh, well, I forgot about Penn State, for God's sakes, whatever. So did you guys go and look at the original, what was the police movie I told you guys to watch?
Was it Police Academy? What were you getting us to watch?
No, you guys didn't read my emails then.
Didn't you say something about the Naked Gun?
The Naked Gun, the original Naked Gun. Have you guys watched that?
I haven't watched it recently, but I did watch the new one, and it
sucked.
Yeah.
The new one sucked. Go watch now. After you watch the new one, go watch the old one. Literally, O.J. Simpson's in there, and he's funnier than hell. You got to go back and watch that movie.
Matt, have you seen the Naked Gun?
I've watched the original Naked Gun. I've got a lot of respect. I've seen Naked Gun, what is it, 2 and then 2.5? Isn't that?
Yeah, 2.5.
Aren't those the sequels? Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, I know. I love it. Yeah, love it.
And then I've already brought up in my emails Red Dawn movie when I said Warriors and somebody thought I was or Wolverines and someone thought I was a Michigan fan. Yeah, that's unbelievable. But apparently somebody was interested in it and they turned them down. It wasn't Saban. It was
Kiffin?
Urban Meyer.
Oh, Urban Meyer. Okay.
Urban Meyer.
I was going to say, because Kiffin's getting his name thrown around, Urban Meyer's getting his name thrown around, and the old LSU coach, the like mafia-looking dude, the big dude, whatever his name is.
Whatever, Roganon,
yeah.
Whatever his name was.
All right, Matt, I'm going to throw it over to you. Do you have 1 or 2 questions for the commish that you just kind of want to get off your chest or like anything you're curious about? Go ahead. We are halfway through the NFL season, and we have 80% of the pool left, Kenny. Did I read on your email? Or 80?
No, it's just about half. We're halfway through the season, and
Yep.
It's just about half the teams left, just about.
Half the team's left. And I do agree with you. One of these big-time favorites is going to lose, and it's going to knock out a lot of people. But I'm going to send it over to Matt. Do you have any questions, buddy?
I don't know how much you've listened, Kenny, but Taylor, Trevor, and I, we have like teams that we just despise. Like we cannot pick them. We want to stay away from them. Last year it was week 1, Cincinnati losing to the Patriots. That got us off to a horrible start. We've just sworn off Cincinnati. This year that team for me is Arizona. I hope they all freaking die. I hate them so much for losing to the Titans that one week. Do you have a team that has like burn you, that you look at them and you're like, I don't even care if they're playing the Titans or the Raiders, whatever it is, I'm not taking a risk on them?
Not the team that I just absolutely hate, because if I can win money on like whatever, everything, I'll bet against my favorite team, etc. But Cincinnati, to your point, last year took out like 40% of the league in 1 week. And if one of my favorite people, Taylor, you've met him, Bob from Cincinnati, was always like, never ever pick Cincinnati. So, the Cincinnati would be one of my teams. Maybe New England too. So, but no, not so much. That's a little surprising to me, because again, I do read your emails, Kenny, and it does seem like there's a lot of stuff that makes you mad. But maybe you're so focused on Penn State right now you can't think of anything else. That's fine. My other question. How do you go from ranked preseason number 2 in the country to what you're looking at right now? As soon as I saw number 2 in the country, or whatever it was, 3, everyone was like, "There's no way in hell. No way in hell." Not with Franklin as a coach, and that he proved himself. But it doesn't get much worse than this.
Actually, Kenny, let me ask you this. Where do you want Franklin to go next? Because he still hasn't signed with a team, right?
Yeah, the things that I've heard where he's looking at Vodtech, and I'm not a die-hard fan where I'm listening to every word that's coming out of Penn State, but he was a good recruiter, and when he got there, that was his thing. He was like, I think his motto was he was going to win the state, meaning there wasn't going to be a recruit out of Pennsylvania that didn't go to Penn State. And he was good at that. And from everything you hear, he's a good guy. The players like playing for him. He just sucked as a coach. Like, the things that I saw, because I'm not an X's and O's guy, probably not as much as you guys are, but his time management, like, he sucked.
But you don't want to go through Urban Meyer, right? Like, who would be your ideal Penn State guy? Like, would it be Lane Kiffin?
No, God, no.
Okay.
The one name, in what I know, the one name that was coming up was the coordinator from Ohio State.
You're not talking about like Matt Patricia, right?
No. It was one of his coordinators is there now.
Okay.
I have to think about it, but that he was kind of checking all the box for him. Ex-Penn State guy, and wherever he's at, they just gave him like a 10-year contract for the same thing with a $50 million buyout just to keep him there.
Jeez.
So,
are you thinking Brian Hartline?
Yes, that's who it was. Thank you, Brian Hartline.
Yeah.
You listen to what everyone talk about him. They're like, that's the guy. Now, I don't know where that's progressed, whether, he's shown any interest or anything like that, but that's the guy that everyone was talking about.
Gotcha. Good.
Love it. Before Kenny, you grow any more gray hairs talking about Penn State, let's jump back into the NFL. Would you be willing to make your pick live on the podcast with us today? Do you already have it in?
I absolutely do. Let's talk strategy here. And one of the things I like at work is, Monday morning, or, I'll hear a lot of folks at work are in the pool. And so you'll hear people go, how'd you do last weekend, et cetera.
Yep.
And then now you start hearing guys going, okay, this is what I'm doing this week. And you hear the different strategies. So I'll ask you guys, what's the strategy? Are you holding team? Well, Taylor, you're out. So
hey, me and Matt are out, but that's okay. You can call me out. I accept it.
But I see some of these guys with a strategy of I'm going to keep the best teams to the last, and that makes absolutely no sense to me. For me, it's I got to make it to next week, and that's all I'm looking for, especially because I only have one life left too.
Yeah.
So if I could, I would be glad to make my pick right now because I have it in. And if I could, obviously I would take the Broncos tonight, but I have already used the Broncos. So this is going to be a game I think a lot of people are going to pick, and it could go south, and everyone, including or half the people, including the commissioner, could be out. I'm going with the Lions.
You're going with the Lions over the Commanders, which is an absolute genius choice because the Commanders are the team from hell this year, Kenny. We've already talked about it on the pod. They're an absolute mess, injury-ridden. I think that's a great pick. Matt, before we jump into who we're taking, who we're staying away from, and who we are on the fence with, what's your strategy? And even Trevor. Trevor's the one that's surviving. Well, Kenny and Trevor are surviving.
Your guys' strategies pick the wrong teams.
Yeah. And watch the frickin' Packers tie a game and then Arizona lose to the frickin' Titans. Trevor, what's your strategy right now? Are you doing percentages and stuff?
I was taking a few risks here and there when I had 2 lives, but now down to 1. It's stay in the game. Pick the best team. Honestly, if you want my pick right now, I'm picking the same thing. It's the Lions over the Commanders. There's no way after the Lions lost to the Vikings, they're dropping one to the Commanders.
Okay.
I was thinking the same. They're pissed off now.
Yep.
Deal. Matt, what was your strategy when you were in, and who are you going with this week, if you were still in?
Well, I'm so glad you asked. My strategy was always just trying to figure out who were these bottom-ass teams, like the Titans, like the Raiders, like the Saints, and basically just picking against them. Now, look, that burned me because of those horrible, horrible Cardinals and losing to the Titans. But look, I'll do better next year, Kenny. I swear I'll do better next year. Okay. The team that I would be picking if I was still in it, because I had already picked the Lions earlier in the year when they ended up playing the Browns. I would pick Carolina over New Orleans. I think the Panthers can roll. I don't trust New Orleans. I think that team is pretty much cursed. They're practically the Aints all over again.
I love it. Real quick, Kenny, is there a team that you were on the fence with? Like if you weren't going with the Lions and Commanders, who would be your next pick?
Of the ones that I have left.
Yeah.
How about the Steelers versus the Chargers?
Who are you picking, the Steelers or the Chargers?
I'm thinking, so if I was going to take a risk pick,
okay,
right, go against the crowd, I'd go Steelers.
Okay. All right.
Can I sign off with my seal of approval on that? Because the Steelers defense looked great last week against the Colts. The Chargers have now lost Joe Alt, and Rashawn Slater has been out for the entire year. They're down both of their tackles. This could be a TJ Watt 3-sack, 2.5-sack game, and Herbert might be getting his butt kicked on Sunday night in primetime. So I think that's pretty good.
It'd be a risk, but it'd also be the one where if everyone goes with the Lions, I think there's going to be a good amount of people doing that. If you were brave and took the Steelers and, they were the upset victory and the Lions go down, now you're sitting pretty. I think this might be one of the weeks, like I said, Taylor, and you agreed with that, everyone's going to pick the favorite and the favorite's going to lose. It's getting closer and closer, I think.
Yeah, it's gonna happen one of these times. Matt, who would you absolutely stay away from when it comes to this week's slate of games?
So this is where some of the strategy comes into play. So you guys must have been reading my mind earlier, because I'm just putting this out there for New England against Tampa, and I'm more leaning towards New England. If people want to go with New England this week, just keep this in mind. New England has some incredible opportunities in front of them. They have a horrible, horrible slate of terrible teams coming up. They play teams that are 23-6 combined. They play the Jets twice. They play Miami again. Sure, they've got Buffalo in there, but just you can plan accordingly. You can plan accordingly with New England. Leave them until much later in the year. They're clearly going to be a playoff team. Hold off on them. Hold off.
Trevor?
To stay away, I'm going with the Bears over the Giants.
Oh, come on.
It's not the right pick. The Bears know how to beat themselves. I'm sorry, Kenny. It's not going to be the Giants winning. It's going to be the Bears losing.
I think I'd pick the Bears because the Giants, I think, have given up. They did nothing, to trade deadline or, I think they're just like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, it's too scary of a pick for me. I'm staying away from that one.
Love it. Well, there you go, fellas. Kenny, we really appreciate it. I do want to leave with one last question.
Sure.
What is the craziest thing? Was the couch the craziest thing you've heard in these times you've been doing this pool that someone bought? And I wouldn't even say crazy. That's a pretty nice award. But when you say buy something cool, like what are we talking? Are we talking gadgets? Are we talking?
Also, to add on to that, what's the best thing someone's bought?
That is true.
Taylor's uncle won it last year, 2 years ago.
2 years ago, I think.
Himself a nice set of golf clubs. Yeah, it would be 2 years ago. So that would be that's more what I'm expecting. Or if you take the money, throw it into, I don't know, whoever sponsors your podcast, FanDuel or DraftKings, and now that we've got
we wish
gambling money, we could do that. Amanda last year, she was like, I need a couch, so she bought a couch. I was just like, her husband was. I just looked at him at work. I'm like, dude, what's going on? He goes, I don't know. She wants a couch. So she bought like a kick-ass couch. All right, that's good.
Hey, Matt, would we see any of that gambling money if we were sponsored by FanDuel or DraftKings?
I'll even take Underdog as far as gambling sites go. In our fair state, Kenny, we can't gamble, unfortunately, on sports books. So we're not like New Yorkers. So that gambling money wouldn't be put to very good use. Maybe Taylor, you could get that new couch for downstairs. How about that?
We have been talking about a new couch, but I'm not in it. Danielle is. She's got one life left.
I was going to say Danielle's still in it, and again, as I said in my email, why isn't if she's in it and you guys aren't? Why is she not on the podcast? That's all I want.
I 100% agree. She can take my spot.
So one of the reasons I can remember doing Survivor pools. It'd be over 20 years ago when my youngest, who is out of this year's pool, she won it, and I think she was 10 years old. And she legit would just like look at the teams, go, I like this color, whatever. And,
damn.
So everything goes out the window. But
damn, I absolutely love it, Kenny. We really do appreciate you hopping on tonight. The pool's great. Let's see if we can keep it rolling. Good luck to you and Trevor. And hopefully you guys both come down to the end and possibly win and buy something cool and then maybe get more people next year. You know what I mean? Just pump it out to a bunch of people and see what happens.
Yeah, okay. So here's a question for you guys.
Yeah.
All right. If I actually won the pool, what would you guys think? I'm not sure. If I won the pool, I think people would be like, what the hell? The commissioner won the pool.
No, I don't think it would be like that. This is a pretty hard thing to win. If you win this thing fair and square, it doesn't matter if you're the commissioner or not. I wouldn't bat an eye about it. I'd give you a little bit of shit, but I wouldn't bat an eye at it.
Yeah, I'm sure I'd catch a little more than a little bit of shit from a lot of people. So, but hey, I'm glad you guys are in it. I'm glad you're having fun. That was the whole idea when I started it a couple of years ago. So we got groups of folks from all over the place. We got a ton of people from Minnesota. We got Cincinnati's represented. The Northeast is represented. We got a lot of military people in it now. So it's good. It's a lot of fun. Hopefully everyone has fun.
Yeah, it is, and it drove us to do this. It gives us a little weekly recap to get together and talk about some things. So we appreciate you guys, or you inviting us all. So sweet. I think that is it, fellas. We do appreciate it. Good luck to everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe, share, do all those fun things. Listen to Kenny's emails, because if there is a tie, hopefully Kenny's reading his own emails, and if he ties someone at the end, he's going to have to answer his own quiz questions.
I wrote them. I know the answer.
Yeah. All right, guys. Tune in next week. Thank you so much, and we will see you later. Peace.